Rest Risings. I had a conversation yesterday that had me thinking on some things. Personally, I'm not one of the most tactful persons that I know. No, no excuses. That's something I need to work on. But when it comes to ministry, I think that there are some things that, as far as tact, that need to be, I guess, more universal or something that's more done frequently. Okay. In the times of benevolence, when you're being a blessing to others, maybe it's not a good time to have the cameras on. Now, if you have it on when you're doing benevolence, at least don't put the person in the view of the camera. At least. Now, some people may not have a problem, but if you've discussed it beforehand and they're okay with it, okay, so be it. That's between you and them, and they're okay with it. But that act of benevolence, basically, when you do that, you could be actually embarrassing them. Another thing, in ministry, if you have something that I guess directly affects an individual, it should be something that should be discussed with that individual first before it's brought to the entire organization. Before it's brought to the entire organization, or that individual should have the respect of knowing of the situation and not being, I guess, broadsided, where you're talking about something that affects them directly, but yet they have no prior knowledge of it, but you're saying it in front of the group, and so everybody's learning how it's going to affect them at the same time. They should have some awareness of what's going on beforehand and not be blindsided. That's a good ministry tactic. You know, I was one that I got done like that. So it's not something that's good. It basically has you like in awe, and you really don't want to respond, because if you do, you could be seen as a tear and not a part of the wheat. When actuality, you're looking at the situation, it's like, well, this is not what I was told prior, and you kind of view it as you were lied to, and it kind of changes or distorts how you view situations because of that, maybe not a lie, but a change of direction that was not previously discussed with you. Also, I noticed that everything in ministry nowadays is becoming something that's put on video. So I get it, services are on video. But if we are spirit-led and have something to say to somebody, an individual that may reflect their lives and maybe some of their shortcomings, maybe it'd be wise to turn off the video and keep that in-house, so those that are familiar with the situation only know, and not everybody all over the globe that's watching the video. And probably even not even done like that. It probably should be done one-on-one, you know, because a lot of times when we're doing things prophetically, or I guess when we do it on video, we're exposing someone and don't always know if they're capable of dealing with the level of response that's given off that video. Maybe they aren't ready to deal with that situation, and true enough, they should be ready to deal with it, but it's not up for us to decide when somebody should have to deal with one of their shortcomings. And a lot of times you end up putting pressure on them and have them lose faith or even pull away because of the hurt that they feel in you disclosing their private situation. That's something that maybe should be considered as far as with etiquette. Also, I was a part of a ministry before. You know, most people know my take on women in leadership in ministry, and I don't agree with it because I don't see it scripturally as a normal way. It's usually as it's something that's a rare occurrence. It's not the way that it was set up, and so when it does go forth, you know, I'm not one that speaks negatively on it. I just don't partake in it. But I do have issues. You know, when I was coming up, as a minister in training, I would have women in authority over me, and they would love to scold me or embarrass me in front of other folks and stuff like that. They would let their authority be known by how they talked with me. And that was something like, okay, once I got out of that system, I'm like, okay, I don't accept that for me, and I don't accept that for any man. I don't think that a woman should ever be in a position in ministry, far as something that's dealing with the Most High, to emasculate a man. I think that is out of order at the highest level. But there are a lot of ministries that still support women in leadership. And honestly, I get it that that's the situation that's between the leader, if they have a male leader that allowing that to happen, but that should not ever affect a man and him being emasculated. That's unethical. But some people may disagree with that. Also, if you have a husband and wife situation, I don't see it proper for a man to talk to another man's wife in correction, sort of. You know, if you have something to say to my wife, don't go at her condescending. You come to me and talk to me and let me talk to her. Because if you do, you might get the wrath of me. Because, you know, in a sense, you know, I don't consider my wife property, but she belongs to me. And if you hurt her, even if it's just, you know, emotionally, I might hurt you. I don't play that. And so that's wisdom. You know, when I see that a woman basically has a husband, I try not to, engage like that. I really try not to argue with women altogether. But base believe if I have a problem with a woman, most of the time I'm going to take it to her husband. I'm going to go to him because he's actually her covering. It's wrong for me to even address her, but, you know, everybody doesn't have that tact. Some people will address the person directly or whatever, the woman. And I've seen leaders do that. And then they wonder, why there's a lack of respect towards their leadership. But that's wrong. I don't care if you're the pastor, moray, whatever. Yes, you still should follow the order that Yah set in place. And that husband is that person's covering. The same thing goes with children. I've never liked when someone thought that they could, direct themselves towards my children when I'm there. It's like, okay, I get it. If they're out of order at the moment, you're telling them to stop, but you don't go overboard with it. You don't have that right. That's my child. And, I will check somebody's child, but I'm not finna whoop nobody's child when their parents there. I'm looking at them like, you better get your child, but I will tell them to stop. That's a good thing to tell them to stop, but you don't manhandle. And so you don't manhandle a man's wife. You don't manhandle his children when he's there. And then even when he's not there, if you have the means of contacting him, contact him. Let it be known that you don't agree with what's being done, but you don't have to destroy or use your strength in that situation that maybe hurt that child or hurt that person. Because in the end, you may get a response that you don't like. And I get it. We're an authority. You have an authority. That's why most melanated people really don't trust the police, because we see how they deal with our children. They deal with our loved ones. Yes, they may have the authority, but sometimes they don't do it the way that we would. They go over and above, and they don't do it how they would deal with their own families. That's a problem, especially when you see ministry done like that. I've seen many ministers that have a calm demeanor when it comes to their family, but when they deal with other folks, oh, they are stern and harsh. It's a something where you see somebody that you like, okay, he's so kind, because you're seeing how they deal with their own family, but then you see their relationship with other people, and it's like, whoa, cold. They have no remorse for what they do. It can tear somebody's life up, and they got to deal with it. And it's like, they would never accept that for their own children. Never accept that someone doing their children like that, but they doing Yah's children like that. Come on, get it right. That ain't good. That ain't good at all. Now, another thing I wanted to talk on. A lot of people make it like, oh, being angry, you're sinning. No, the scripture says, be angry, but sin not. You have a right to be angry at certain things. to do something about it or enact that, nah, you don't. So yeah, letting it be known that things anger you. Yeah, it angers me when somebody betrays my trust. It angers me when somebody tells me something and goes something different. It angers me when someone shows loyal to me but then becomes disloyal, when I'm not around. That angers me. That bothers me. It breaks trust. And it's already hard to trust people as it is. But ministry should not be the same. It should not be the case. That should be a protection. That should be a covering. You look for it for covering. And a lot of times nowadays it's not, because these people are looking to advance themselves. Everybody thinking that things are debates when you're just trying to talk and have communication, reason. Just because I'm a big man and I have a strong voice and I have a big presence does not mean that I'm trying to fight everybody. But that's how people want to take it, and that's their choice. I can't control what other people do, but I definitely can control what I do. And so I avoid a lot of stuff that people think that I'm looking for. Hey, it's many times people out in this Facebook world are disrespectful. As far as me going forth in ministry, people think that I have to do things their way for it to be okay, when Yah has directed me to do it away. They disregard everything that I say, and then it comes back and shows, with me working security. I speak on things of security and how things are not wise for our security. People ignore that. And then, boom, stuff happens. You don't have to let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. When I go on vacation, I don't tell people I'm on vacation till after I've made it back home. I live in Flint. You tell people that you're away from home, and the time that you're away, you're likely to have your home broken into. Yeah. Yep, I had a classmate went to the Bahamas, and they were showing all their time on the trip, and they came home to their house ravaged. Yep, it happens. Maybe other people live in communities where they don't have to worry about that. Blessings to them. But not everybody has that situation. So I don't want everybody to know where my comings and going. But yet somebody else could decide to disclose, oh, well, he's here, he's there. And I'm like, I didn't ask you to do that. You didn't ask my permission. And people wonder, hey, why are you shying away from the pictures or whatever? Because I know you're posting them, and I don't want it publicly out there that I'm away from my home. And a lot of times, maybe somebody's at my home, but I don't want even someone to have a thought to come to my home when I'm not. The covering is not there to protect it. Just letting you know a little bit about etiquette when it comes to these videos and stuff. Hey, I don't always have the most tact, but I'm always available to be talked to. My number's never changed. It's been the same number for almost 20 years. People can call me in my inbox. Hey, I have talks all the time, so inbox me. If you have an issue with me, please talk to me. Don't talk about me behind my back. You can talk to me. Hey, blessings and shalom.